And last of all, we have 1440. Good morning! It's Friday, August 7th, and we're covering jobs numbers, a high-profile false positive in Ohio, and the potential return of college football. Need to know. Unemployment claims dip. Yay! Just under 1.2 million Americans filed initial unemployment claims last week. Ugh. Roughly 200,000 less than analysts expected. The figure is the lowest since the panic upended the U.S. economy, though it still marks the 20th straight week initial claims have exceeded 1 million. Yeah. More than 55 million initial claims have been filed since mid-March, though not all are workers losing their jobs for the first time. In California, workers who were rehired but subsequently let go once coronavirus cases rose again represented more than half of new claims in the week ending July 25th. Continuing claims, workers who have been collecting benefits for at least 2 weeks, a better proxy for current unemployment, fell by 844,000 to 16.1 million. When benefits provided under a stimulus provision capturing gig economy and self-employed workers are included, total claims rise to 32.1 million. Ugh. The July jobs report comes out this morning. There is a lot of variability in projections, but forecasts average to predict a 10.6% drop in unemployment, down from 11.1% in June, and growth in jobs of about 1.7 million. False positive in Ohio. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, Republican, tested negative for the coronavirus last evening after testing positive earlier in the day. The first result, using a quicker but less accurate method, came shortly before he was expected to host President Trump on a visit to the state. The false positive is emblematic of the larger problem of accurate testing across the country, though experts say false negatives are more consequential since infected patients are then more likely to spread the virus. Oh yes, let's just ignore the possibility that perhaps thousands of your total case count could be wrong. DeWine was an early advocate for precautions like face masks and social distancing and had reported no symptoms. Trump's visit to Ohio included the announcement of an executive order encouraging the federal government to purchase certain drugs and medical supplies only from U.S. factories. That's probably a good thing. The directive may have a significant impact on the pharmaceutical industry and its complex supply chains, though the Food and Drug Administration must first determine which drugs will be subject to the order. Separately, Senate Republicans have largely withdrawn from negotiations on a Phase 4 coronavirus stimulus bill, letting the White House negotiate directly with House Democrats. Leaders on both sides have alternately said talks have stalled while predicting a deal as soon as next week. A $600 per week boost to unemployment, now at the center of the talks, expired last week. Just fucking give it up. We need people to go back to work. See differences between the Republican and Democrat proposals here. A surge in U.S. coronavirus cases seen in late July appears to have reversed course, though officials warn a continued uptick in deaths, which has averaged over 1,000 per day recently, allegedly, as expected. The U.S. has reported 4.88 million total cases, allegedly, as of this morning, with 160,104 alleged deaths. See how your state is doing here. Clemson tops preseason polls. The first USA Today college football coaches poll was released yesterday, with Clemson slated to enter a season full of uncertainty as the nation's top-ranked team. The Tigers, led by phenom quarterback Trevor Lawrence, fell to LSU in last year's national championship. Ohio State, who lost to Clemson in last year's semifinals, sits in the number 2 spot, followed by Alabama, Georgia, and LSU. The sports' major conferences are proceeding as if the season will take place, while acknowledging the coronavirus may force a change in plans. The Power 5 conferences, the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and Pac-12 have effectively canceled all major out-of-conference games and dramatically reshuffled schedules. Many stadiums will be empty, and players have banded together to voice safety concerns. Football-related revenues account for more than half of the average athletic department budget at Power 5 schools, and the teams could lose a collective $4 billion if the season is canceled. The first games are, for now, scheduled for August 29th. See the full slate here. Players have banded together to voice safety concerns. Do they honestly think that anybody is unaware of the fucking safety concerns? And it's not just about that, it's also about the social justice. In the Know, sports, entertainment, and culture. Brought to you by In the Wild. More than 60 NFL players opt out of season over coronavirus concerns. Union says 56 NFL players have tested positive for COVID-19. MLB and Players Union agree on new safety protocols, including season-long ban for rule breakers. Oh, brother. Amazon greenlights A League of Their Own reboot series. Well, that's gonna fucking suck. Tony-winning actor Brent Carver dies at 68. Every single time they remake anything classic, especially something that already involved a lot of women, it is just awful. Awful, awful, awful. There's no way that I'm ever going to watch that. Paul Talegdi out as NBC Entertainment chairman following accusations of sexist and racist behavior. Grammy-winning producer Detail arrested on 15 sexual assault charges. What went wrong, what went right, and what can you learn to make it out safely if confronted with disaster in the depths of the wilderness? Check out In the Wild for true and gripping tales of survival, tragedy, and triumph. Listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Science and technology. Electrical brain measurements show placebos reduce emotional distress even if those taking them know the treatment is a placebo. Tests reveal wireless charging, an increasingly popular way to recharge smartphones, consumes nearly 50% as much energy to refill the battery as a conventional cord charger. Funny. Scientists decode the genome of the... Does that mean 50% less or 50% more? Consumes nearly 50% as much energy. So the energy of a conventional cord charger plus 50%. That's what I thought it meant. Because if it was the other way around, then it would say consumes nearly 50% less energy to refill the battery, is it? Okay. It's just, seems like strange wording. Scientists decode the genome of the tuatara, the last living species of an order of reptiles that flourished during the Mesozoic era. Neat. Business and markets. U.S. quarterly household debt declines for first time in 6 years as consumers reduced non-essential spending amid lockdown. Huh. Epic Games, maker of massively popular Fortnite video game, raises $1.78 billion at $17 billion valuation. Nintendo sees profits surge 428% as video game consumption booms. Uber's second quarter revenues fall 29% as ride-sharing falls 75%, but Uber Eats food delivery doubles. That's not surprising. Politics and world affairs. White House applies 10% tariffs on raw aluminum imports from Canada. Move comes 1 month after a new free trade agreement was signed between the two countries and Mexico. I wonder what the reason is. Cheap hydroelectric power gives Canada an edge in aluminum production. New York Attorney General Letitia James files a lawsuit to dissolve the National Rifle Association. Oh, that's what the... Seriously? She thinks she's gonna do that? Alleging the group committed fraud by misusing $64 million in charitable donations. Good luck with that. President Trump signs executive order banning transactions with ByteDance, the Chinese parent of video sharing platform TikTok, in 45 days over national security concerns. Microsoft currently in talks to buy TikTok. In depth. Simone Biles would like to thank herself. That sounds super obnoxious. From Vice. In a world where the panic never happened, last week likely would have seen Simone Biles claim her second straight Olympic gold in the women's gymnastic all-around competition, the first to do so since 1968. I think all the other gymnasts who would have been competing against her would take umbrage with that claim. Number fever, from Bloomberg Businessweek. In 1992, a simple $1 million marketing stunt led to full-fledged chaos after an error at a processing plant led to hundreds of thousands of winners. Life after Zoom, from Wired UK. Video conferencing has been one of the success stories during the panic, but is remote working here to stay? I'm sure it probably is for some people. The Last of the Zoroastrians, from Guardian. A glimpse inside India's Zoroastrian community, one of the world's oldest still practicing religions, as its numbers rapidly dwindle. Guessing that has something to do with the stars, etc. The physics of the Beirut explosion. And this bride's photo shoot was interrupted by the blast. Why hitting a baseball is the hardest feat in sports. I feel that is a dubious claim. Support 1440. For the price of a cup of coffee per month, you can help support 1440. Check out our Patreon page for details. Oakley celebrates 20 years of over-the-top glasses with literal over-the-top glasses. Ranking Europe's 25 best beaches. The countries where women are forbidden from taking their husband's name. Well, that sounds awful and oppressive. Caesar, the no-drama llama, is here to calm tensions. 9-year-old Florida boy saves father after a diving accident. Clickbait. Advice for escaping bears and ending friendships. Okay. I can picture that. History book. Nobel Peace Prize winner Ralph Bunche, born 1904. Happy birthday actress Charlize Theron, 1975. Operation Desert Shield preps U.S. to enter Gulf War, 1990. U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania are bombed, killing 224 and wounding 4,500, 1998. Rest in peace, journalist Peter Jennings, 2005. Hearts are the strongest when they beat in response to noble ideals. Ralph Bunche. Bunch? That's very fluffy. Very fluffy quote. And that's all for 1440 and Sundry News. Thank you and goodbye.